Welcome back to another edition of the Swoop Shoots Podcast, episode number 66. 66, that's right. So we got the whole gang back here. We got myself, Eric, aka 2025 is the next year. Armani, aka
Cap.
Take Me There, number 5.
Take me there, 5.
We got Ernest, aka La JJ Reddick. I'm not sure about that hiring. And Josh, aka 15 Forever. Vince Carter in the Hall of Fame. So,
What was that like? Really?
That sound haterish.
no haterish.
Excuse me.
So we're gonna recap the second round, which just ended on Sunday. We had 2 game 7s. They had a game 6 on Saturday with the Mavs beating the Thunder 117-116 to win that series 4-2. And on Sunday, he had 2 game 7s. The Indiana Pacers beating the injury-riddled Knicks 130-109 to win that series 4-3. And the nightcap, which was a big surprise to everyone.
A
Nuggets
choke job. A choke job by the Denver Nuggets. Proceed, Eric.
Yeah.
A choke job by the Denver Nuggets. It had a 20-point lead in the second quarter, and then third quarter, the T-Wolves literally dog walked them. Anthony Edwards had a big monster game. Carl Anthony Towns monster game in the second half, and the T-Wolves winning that game 98-90 to win the series in 7, 4-3, in which means that it sets up the last 4 teams in the NBA. The conference final starts tonight with the Indiana Pacers against the Boston Celtics, and tomorrow you have the Dallas Mavericks versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, recaps on the 2 game 7s and what happened this past weekend. Any thoughts that you got for?
Well, real quick, I just want to touch on the Mavs and the Thunder series. Obviously, like we kind of knew that OKC wasn't quite there yet. Given the fact of their youth and lack thereof of their depth. The Mavericks just did what they were supposed to do. This, considering the fact that Luka kind of struggled throughout this series and Kyrie certainly did. But Kyrie in other ways was able to kind of galvanize the team. To me, this was the most I've seen him play in a leadership role I've ever seen. He struggled shooting the ball like a lot, and that is a concern for me going into the next series against Minnesota. But OKC has to realize that this offseason that they need the hoarding of the picks. Yeah, it looks glamorous and it's nice and like, teams have to kind of just go through them to kind of, make some moves and get picks and what may have you. But if they're serious of trying to contend, then they need to put chips in the table and stop playing around, stop holding on to these picks for God knows who, right? Because if they don't, they're going to wind up being like the Sacramento Kings of the West, where last year Sacramento was the 3rd seed. It looked for a very potent team. The offense was one of the top in the league. Electrifying gameplay between their two duos with 2 top players between Fox and Sabonis, and just lighting the beam and that whole energy around that squad. And then this year they didn't even make the playoffs. So, OKC has to really look at the situation, and they're in a different situation than anyone else because of the amount of picks that they have. And some young players, obviously, Giddey, I'm sure will be moved. I will look at not J-Dub. I will look at the other Jalen Williams. I will look at Isaiah Joe. I will look at those guys and see what I can, because outside of Chet, you don't have any size, right? And they need shooting. It was evident in that series where they're shooting like I think 20% from 3. So,
but which is really awkward because going into the playoffs, period, the Oklahoma City Thunder was the best 3-point shooting team in the league.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
And it plummeted in the series. Like they were
right.
terrible.
Right, and that's because, like, their whole starting five is able to shoot threes, but obviously in the playoffs, like, you're not just playing the team just once, you're playing them about 4 to 7 times. So, like, you're able to capitalize and game plan correctly. Like, Lou Dort looked really bad out there. Josh Giddey, they played him off the floor. Like, even the Thunder's coach was like, finally we could like get into our sets, like in our offense without Giddy being there. And I think that's something that you really don't want to say, especially when you have a struggling player. Your starting shooting guard slash point guard is struggling, and then for him to get benched and then finally say that I can uh uh run your sets and have a flow of offense, something along those words. I'm not, I can't really get the words down verbatim, but yeah, that was the point that he was trying to make, and I just think that, yeah, to your point, like that was the biggest elephant in the room that the Oklahoma City Thunder need. They needed size. After Chet, remember we discussed this a couple episodes ago. Like they have J Will, but he's more like a shooter. Like he's a stretch big, and then Bertans, right? They still got Bertans,
I
and
think
then
so.
yeah, I believe they still do. And like just even if the Thunder was to make it past the Dallas Mavericks, they had no shot at all against the Denver Nuggets, because let's say the Nuggets made it, they had no shot because just the size was just too much for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought the X factor in this series was PJ Washington, and he came up big in the series. Averaging like
Absolutely.
24 points a game. Had the two big games, or games um 3 and 4. Actually, games 2 and 3. He had 29 points each. Um, Also felt like the Thunder's inexperience really showed up in the series. Um, Even though they won Game 4 in Dallas, still kind of see you saw the immaturity factor of the Thunder, being that their first time going this deep into the playoffs. And on top of that, the Josh Giddey factor. If you can't shoot, they're gonna expose you. Especially that's what the playoffs
They're
do.
literally playing 4-on-5 on
They're
offense
playing,
when,
yeah.
when he was out there on the floor. It's
So
crazy.
Giddy got a weird case. Why is he around?
Oh man, come on.
Oh gosh. So so yeah, it got to a point where Coach Dagnall couldn't even play him, couldn't even start him. So that's what happens in these playoffs. Like if you have a non-shooter, you're gonna get exposed, and you won't be even in that rotation. So that's what happened to him. Um, Also, I thought that even though Kyrie struggled shooting wise, he
Oh,
basically was like the main reason why the Mavericks won the series. Just holding on, and just keeping the team together, even though Luca was going through his injuries, the back, the knee. Um, as we see Angel, aka hotels.com/nuggets.
Go ahead, guys. Get it in, man. Get it in. Get your laughs in. We lost. Y'all happy?
hey, look. The Lakers started in Minnesota. That's all I'm saying.
That's nasty, bro. That's
That's
nasty.
all I'm saying, man.
This is crazy.
Oh,
What's good? What's good, Angel?
Let's go, bro.
How them hotels out there in Cancun? I know Jokic got a deal.
Hey, we got a deal. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. All inclusive, baby.
Oh man. I'm sorry, Eric. Continue your
yeah.
soliloquy.
So as the Mavericks, as we segue to the next series, as we segue to the next Mavericks opponent, the Minnesota Timberwolves, as they were up 2 games to none on the Denver Nuggets. They did win 2 games in Denver, including a 26-point shellacking in Game 2. Game 3 and Games 4, the Nuggets came back and won both of those games, and they did win Game 5. But if you go back to Game 6, being down 50 points in the third quarter at Minnesota, And then what you had Jokic standing for the entire fourth quarter,
Fake demon.
just watching the shellacking as he plotted and schemed his way to a Game 7 win. Going to Game 7, actually in Game 7, they had a 20-point lead in the second quarter, and as usual, it was going to be typical Nuggets fashion domination. Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, the whole crew taking back, winning the series again. But the T-Wolves said, not so fast. Anthony Edwards, the MVP of the series, the best player in the playoffs as of right now, showed out. Karl Anthony Towns, he finally came around.
Karl Anthony Towns
Nas Reed,
carried.
yes, yeah, he carried them in the second half. I also thought Nas Reed came up big in the third quarter with 14 points. And also Mike Conley, who missed Game 5 in that series, came back in Game 6, and also was a big presence in Game 7. And I just thought the T-Wolves defense was too much for the Nuggets. Jamal Murray, he was hampered by the calf injury, and Michael Porter Jr. Was a no-show, a complete no-show in Game 7.
And what pissed me off about Michael Porter Jr. is that, and I said this to y'all in the chat, I was like, Rui Hachimura, and I sent y'all the stats. I'm like, Rui Hachimura made Michael Porter Jr. look like prime Kevin Durant against us. And then, like, he was a complete no-show in that series against the Wolves. And that's due in part because the Wolves actually have wing depth that can defend. Josh, we didn't get your take on the Mavericks series. I know you got some things you want to get off about Mr. Heller. And you can continue with your take on the Nugget series before we go to Armani. And we'll leave Angel for last. Like, we'll leave him for
Appreciate
last.
it. Don't got much to say.
For the Thunder versus Mavs series, the one thing that is just glaring for me and why the Thunder lost that series is they need somebody after Shea that's consistent. And I thought Jalen Williams would have been that guy to be the consistent guy behind him to efficiently get to his spots and do what he needs to do. But no. Granted, this is his first time in the playoffs. I get it. But him and Chet being so inconsistent on offense, I really feel like they need to address that and having a better number two, because those guys, at least for right now, are not ready for that number two role after Shea. So that was the glaring hole. And, you know, a lot of people saying Kyrie did great and all that. I think he didn't. When you have a guy of his talent, a star of his talent, average 15 in the series, and people compliment him just for being Ricky Rubio, that's crazy to me.
Jamal Murray.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like stuff like that. Like I noticed that people coddle certain players, and Kyrie is one of those coddled players. You know, anything he does, but that he really means like
Coddled?
anything that Kyrie, he's coddled to a certain audience. I said to a certain audience
because I'm
he's
like
coddled.
The public vitriol that he's received over the last couple years tells me something different.
And he did that to himself. But I'm talking about his performance. He did that to himself, bro. Let's talk about his performance. God. This guy, you paid him to be the star, averaging. He's supposed to be the number 2 scorer. Just like the number 2 scorer for the Mavs most of the series was PJ Washington, which was great for them. Kyrie, like, OKC had the right defensive game plan for the whole match, because even Luka struggled. It's just, that's why I'm just going back to this. They need to stop being scared. You got 13 firsts, 20 seconds. You got a first this year that's in the lottery. You got tradable guys. I think so. No, never mind, because Giddey's not tradable. I don't think what team will want him. Because, you know.
That's true. I mean,
I wouldn't want him either.
His market is definitely bleak for sure.
You got a weird case.
I just think it's more of OKC really failing around Shea wise, because you also question what the coach was doing. Like, Some of the coach was not calling timeouts when he needs. I'm like, what's happening? The game plan is not changing. When you see PJ Washington still open in the corner after he scored 29 and 28, and all, why is he still open? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So I think it was just.
I just think from a strategy standpoint, you're gonna live with that. You don't want Luka and Kai to kill you. You know what I'm saying? And plus, like, I get what you're saying, but like they're all new to this. This is first time in the playoffs. They all new to this. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, we doubting them right now, but like, you know, and you don't want to rush it, but like they do have picks, and they need to figure it out like soon. I don't want to
roster spots for all them picks, man.
No,
get some.
Yeah,
no,
like,
agree.
they're gonna have to trade multiple picks at a time to kind of, you know what I mean? Like that's what I was saying. Like it's all nice and it looked glamorous a few years ago, but really, who did they really draft with those picks they acquired? Really think about it, right? They're already a bad team and we're getting lottery picks, so it like do something.
And then one of the picks that they traded last year was Derek Lively, who killed them. So it's like you gotta do something. You need a big, you need an extra score. You got the picks to do it. You could do it without killing the whole war chest. So shout out to Mavericks for doing what they had to do. Shout out to Jason Kidd, who, you know, people call him a bad coach and all that. So we're gonna see a great series next round.
What are your thoughts on the T-Wolves and Nuggets?
Listen, man. This series is gonna be kind of weird because this could go either way, man. If the Mavs win, it's because of Rudy Gobert. It's not playable because Luka and Kyrie might be hunting that man. That's why I think so that you already kill one of their bigs, like their three-headed big monster. You already kill that. So that's why I think it's a little touchy. Maybe Gobert plays better. You know, maybe they play Lively more and not Maxi Kleber. And even if Maxi Kleber plays, you could live with him taking them shots, I guess, because if Maxi Kleber win them a game, okay, bro.
He's hurt though.
Yeah.
Huh?
He's done for the playoffs.
He's done for the playoffs.
He hurt his
well, who's the other white guy that be shooting for them?
On the Mavericks?
I feel like he's the only one.
Only one.
Dwight Powell's hurt.
Dwight
Powell's hurt.
Yeah, he hurt.
Oh
It's Daniel Gafford. That's the other big.
You had a Stephen A moment for a second, bro.
Yo, my brain is ramming, whatever. Because I'm thinking, I mean, he didn't play, but like they could use him for this series against a team like this. Yeah. But never mind.
What are your thoughts on how the Nuggets choked? Like what was the, because like the thing is, like I'm not gonna lie, like I can't sit here and act like I didn't think the Nuggets were going to win after them winning 3 straight, and I was just like, you know, like here we go again. But one thing I noticed in the last series they played against a certain team was something was off about Denver. Like they didn't look like the team that they looked like last season. Obviously losing, you know, and to some Denver Nugget fans, it wasn't a big deal, but clearly it showed in the playoffs. Losing Bruce Brown, losing Jeff Green were huge for them.
And but before you continue, I want to. Why is that? But I'm gonna let you continue though. I mean, I guess what you're about to say, you're about to explain. Like, why is that? And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be biased. I just really want to know.
Denver thought, hey, we can heavily lean on Peyton Watson and Christian Brown. Those are the 2 replacements for the 2 veterans that they lost. And Peyton was unplayable in this series. He looked completely lost on the floor at times, shook at times on the floor. So Josh, I just want to get your thoughts on, like, what do you take away from that series between Denver and Minnesota?
They finally went against a team that got the height for them. All the other teams in the last 2 years have been smaller than the Nuggets. So Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter, Christian Braun, they always had the guys that's taller and recently, like I guess more athletic, you could say, than other teams. Now you're going against people that can actually guard up on Michael Porter. People that can actually, you could throw a couple guys at Jamal Murray and, you know, rattle him a little bit. You could throw a couple guys on Aaron Gordon, where he had like 2 great games when he wasn't missing. But you could actually disrupt him with the bigs and the wings that they have and on the Timberwolves. And I think also dealing with Anthony Edwards, the adjustment he made in Game 7 was very pivotal and important. Him, even though his shot wasn't going down and he knew it, he was like, you know what? I'm going to disrupt the game in a different way. I'm going to guard Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray was having tough times navigating
is he a
through the
sole loser?
screens. I won't say that.
So if that was anyone else,
Why you think he's a sole loser?
because if that was anyone else, I think the criticism would have been very loud. Just how he carried himself throughout the whole series, like because he was getting frustrated and he wasn't getting the things that he wanted, he wasn't getting the calls that he normally gets, and the teams were very physical with him. I don't know. For some reason, his attitude was just completely off.
That's just the frustration. This is the first team to actually get under his skin. He has no breaks. Jamal Murray in this series had no breaks compared to any other series that they played in the last 2 years. You got to see Nikhil, you got to see Ant, you got to see Jaden McDaniels. I will be frustrated. I'll be looking like, yo, can I get a breather? Even when he saw Mike Conley might be in front of him, they made sure they're like, yo, come back. I got him. Like, that's annoying. So I will understand. I don't think he's a sore loser. I think it's just the frustration. Like, I'm tired of this.
You know who was a sole loser though? Mike Malone, for sure.
Oh yeah, that conference.
He was.
His
Man.
was
Because here's my issue with Mike. You can't sit around and parade, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. You're the champ. You can talk all your ish that you want.
Who's your dad?
But the minute you lose, you're gonna curse out a reporter for asking you a legitimate question. Season's all. I want to talk about that, brother. Hold on, like relax. Take your L, and it's okay, and move on gracefully. But like this notion of like, I don't know. It's just Denver. Listen, I respect anyone that wins a championship. That is no easy feat.
Stop it! Don't tell me you're going to.
But at the end of the day,
oh my god!
At the end of the day, we know they beat 3 playing teams last season to win the championship. 3.
Here we go.
Timberwolves. I don't care. I'm going there. The Timberwolves, the Lakers, and the Heat. They beat 3 playing teams to win their championship. All those teams were under 50 wins. The minute they see a 50-win team, they don't know how to adjust. I don't want to hit on you're the champs.
All right, let me be fair. Let's be fair here. Objective hat on. You're the first seed for a reason. You want to be the first seed to play the lower comp.
I know, of course. I'm not. Again, I'm just putting things in perspective here, because people. Because at the end of the day, let's keep it a buck. People had Nikola Jokic. If he won the chip this year, people had him leaping over Shaq. Like, hold on.
And Steph.
Hold on.
I'm fine with that.
No, you're crazy. So
I'm just tired of the stuff fans. That's it. That's just for that.
I mean, we all are. So, but at the end of let's give props when props was due. Don't get me wrong. Jokic had an incredible run last season. I had a great run this year, right? But like, we got to stop acting like Denver was this like completely unbeatable force, and really look at what was on paper, what we saw. Yes, they were the 1 seed last year.
I mean, but
yes,
Ernest, like it was a incredible feat because we couldn't beat them in 2 years. That's where that narrative came from.
Yeah, but it was only one team that couldn't beat them in 2 years. People forget about what about the rest of the teams?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so it's just like at the end of the day, like, cool. The Nuggets won the chip, deservingly so. And they beat 3 playing teams to do so. And again, that you play who's in front of you. I'm not saying it's like how I feel about the Celtics this year. If they don't win this year, it's a failure.
Over. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is the minute teams are catching up and they're playing better, like there's no adversity. Like you guys can't handle adversity the proper way. I don't know. It's just like I didn't like the way Malone kind of carried himself, even through the series. Like the complaining about the calls. Like, bro, we in the playoffs, bro. We in the playoffs. I don't want to hear that.
I think
like Rick Carlisle.
Malone more than anybody else, because I don't think like the Jamal Murray one is just frustration, but Mike Malone was more of the loser in how he reacted to things than anything. So
yeah, Angel, it is your time to. I'm gonna say
I'm gonna put myself on mute so I don't say nothing. I look like a hater. I said
no. I'm hating. I don't care. From my perspective, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. How you feeling? After choking, that 20-point lead. We've been there. Clearly, we've been there. We took a 20-point lead to you guys. So, listen, I understand.
For us, I mean, for Denver, like they definitely blew it. Like for the minute they let Minnesota grab that 2-0 lead, fighting back. I think they honestly relied on themselves too much to like have that same type of resilience that they had last year and be able to fight back against whatever is presented against them. And it was unfortunately too little too late. Minnesota took advantage. They were the hungrier team. They have nothing to lose by playing us and losing to us. So I think that kind of gave confidence to Minnesota on top of Anthony Edwards obviously being the guy this year for the playoffs and putting a battery in everybody's back that they realistically don't have without him. So I think it was just a combination of that. The Nuggets clearly were trying to work on youth development that didn't pan out so well. Peyton Watson and Christian Brown. Christian Brown definitely improved a lot, I would say, from last year. He closed out games for us when Michael Porter couldn't, because Michael Porter, man, tough conversations about Michael Porter. Minnesota used his own strength against him, and he looked like a small fry out there. Like they dared him to shoot, and he couldn't do it. So after that, it was like, what else can you do for us, Mike? He crashed the boards, yeah, but like he gets paid $35 million to shoot the ball, not crash the glass. So that's another topic of conversation too. Our cap space. That is why we went the youth development route. Calvin Booth, our GM, that's what he's banking on. All of our rookies from last year who we drafted, they're signing 4-year deals. KCB got a player option. So I think it's just a lot of that. That's what's happening right now. And players just wasn't ready. Throughout the regular season, the starters played more minutes this season than they did the last season, and it showed. By Game 7, by the third quarter, I think the Nuggets was fried. I think the first 2 quarters, they put absolutely 110% out there, and by the time the second half came, they had nothing left to give. Jokic was shooting like, what did he shoot, 9 threes in Game 7? That told me all I needed to know. We had a 20-point lead.
He was 0 for 7 in the third quarter. He hit his first 3, right. And I was like, like he's gassed.
Yeah, so that gave me a hint. Jamal Murray, I think he took like about 10 threes, and it's like we're up 20, we're up 15. Why are we shooting threes when we could be attacking the basket? Cat was in foul trouble. Rudy Gobert, he got fouled out, but when it was too late. There was a lot of things they could have did, but unfortunately they just didn't have the energy or the personnel for what they were trying to do. I think they just tried to run back the same formula as last year. Christian Brown is going to be the new Bruce Brown. He's not really that type of player. He's actually more so like a wing defender, if anything. His 3-point shot is developing, but he's not going to be that playmaker for us. Reggie Jackson, get him off the team, please. Like, I cannot stand Reggie Jackson being on our team. He had his moments in the regular season, but
that's what he kind of is now. He's a regular season kind of guy that could,
right. And like for us, again, with the cap space that we have, he was our backup point guard, and he was like unplayable in Minnesota. Game 7, he comes in, turnover immediately. Like it's crazy. And he has Game 7 experience when he was on the Clippers, and he actually lost to us. So you would think he would learn, but it didn't like pan out that way. So it's definitely a lot of things Denver has to do. I think although we're like kind of at that cap space, I think they should pay pay KCP this offseason and kind of enter that apron and just deal with it. It's either that or free agency is going to look pretty bad for us because we don't have anybody to sign, and just continue to double down on youth development. But overall, man, I got to give it to Minnesota. They definitely did their thing. I can't hate Ant-Man too much. He went to Georgia. That's like my favorite college team. So like, there is
Take me there, Five.
there. But all in all, man, like for like this next series, I definitely think I'm interested in seeing how Kyrie handles what Jamal Murray had to deal with. Mind you, like he was doubled a lot this past series, but like this is a different animal. Minnesota's defense, I'm not gonna lie, like I think Josh said it. The last time we got bullied like this was to the Lakers in 2020, and since then, like the Nuggets learned their lesson about what it's like being a smaller team and how detrimental that can be for you, especially in the playoffs when it's about adjustments and adaptability. The Nuggets, they didn't have the personnel to do all that. So while we were relying too heavy on Jokic and Murray, like they were the only people in double digits game 7. Like it was just a lot of question marks. And yeah, I mean, like championship aside, overall, like the season for us, we finished 57-25. We're tied for the best record in franchise history, like right there. So like, had we not won a chip last year, this would have been looked at as like a successful season or like, one in progress. But from the last podcast I was featured on, I said from this moment on, it's championship or bust. And we definitely dropped the ball on this one. So it's all about retooling, and Minnesota's a new standard now. That's who we got to fight back against.
Yeah, what's so crazy is I don't understand why teams do this. Like Golden State, the Lakers, now Denver, and a few other teams. Like, what's this notion? Even the Knicks, to a certain degree, and I think the Knicks are starting to turn around to this, or from away from this. What is the notion of you're a contender, right? But then you have these young guys on your squad. And then you're trying to run this dual timeline of being a contender and also developing. I'm sorry, that does not work in the NBA. It doesn't, because you're going to have guys who are getting these minutes who have these expectations of the team that need to win now. You got to be prepared, ready for playoff basketball. And some of these guys aren't, and no fault to them, right? It's just like, I don't understand these organizations are trying to do a dual time. It does not work. You have to choose a path. You either going all in or you're going to rebuild it.
But I think they're doing it more now because of the ramifications of the CBA.
Well, also, the CBA is starting this year, so yeah.
Like for instance, as Angel mentioned about the Nuggets and that cap space, right now they have $193.7 million already committed in salary, right?
Damn.
They're already
apron.
Yep.
So
if KCP, we would be.
The tax threshold is 171 million. So they're already a first apron team. First apron is at 178 million. Second apron is at 189 million. So which means that 193 that includes draft picks this year. So like if they re-sign KCP, if they draft whoever at the first round with the 28th pick, they're going to be a second apron team, because right now you have 3 guys on a max deal, right? I'm doing max because in quotations for Michael Porter, but you got essentially 3 guys on a max deal. So they move into this territory next season to bringing everyone back. You can't sign buyout guys. You can't aggregate contracts to trade players. So like if they enter the season as a second apron team and they want to get rid of Michael Porter Jr., which is making $35 million, I think.
Yep, 35 this year, 36.
They got to match. They got to match dollar for dollar.
It has to match dollar for dollar, and you can't bring back multiple players in that deal. It has to be a 1-for-1. So like it's for one, CJ McCollum. I don't know what you were thinking.
That's horrible. Why did owners agree to that? See this. Sorry, just a minute of this. If they was trying to make it even playing field for the small market teams, this hurts small market teams even more when they draft good, like the Nuggets and OKC.
We had to retain Michael Porter. That's why he got signed to that extension. Because had we not, he might have walked like to another team, or we're a small market. That's how we win, by retaining our core over the years.
But it doesn't make sense how you get penalized for drafting a player, developing him.
Yeah.
He turns into a max player, and then well, you know what? It's your fault because he's a max player. You got to penalize him. That don't make any sense. That don't make any sense. So like, I get it, but also it'll obviously you don't want to go to Phoenix Sun route where you go all in and you have nothing else to. But like at the very least, you got to be able to the dual timeline it doesn't work regardless of what the cap situation looks like, because at the end of the day, experience matters. Like when you're expected to win and you're paying X amount of dollars in salary and you don't win because you're doing a dual timeline, that don't to the owners that don't make it make sense. Them dollars don't add up to me, right? So teams gonna have to figure out, like, you either gonna have to pay that first apron and be right under the cusp of that second apron so you can have flexibility to move those contracts and just say, F it, I'm gonna go all in and do what I gotta do to try to win the chip, because this is as the league is wide open as we've seen. Like, there is parity everywhere, right? Like, what the 6th straight season we're about to have a new champion?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So the years of repeating and all that stuff, that's kind of probably
harder
right now. Yeah, it's way harder to do it now. So it's just I just don't understand the dual timeline. Like I hate it.
It's either you got to tank or go for the championship.
Yeah, I hate that the Lakers are doing that, right? Well, for the last couple of years, been trying to do that. The Warriors didn't make the playoffs because they decided to do that. You have now the Nuggets got to figure out what to do. The Knicks got to figure out what they got to do. And let's not forget, even though the T-Wolves are having a great, successful year, it gets super bleak for them financially wise next season.
Yep.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing with them. And I wrote all this stuff down because I like to have this like noted out. But
contract coming in.
So Jaden McDaniels, right? Jaden McDaniels is making $3 million right now, and Ant-Man is making $13 million, right?
Oh, he's way over.
So they got the extensions. It's just not.
They already got the extensions that kicks in next season. So next season, the extension kicks in for Ant. He'll earn $35 million. Jaden McDaniels will earn 22.5, right? Cat's vet extension kicks in next year also, which is roughly around $36 million. It balloons from 36 to 49 million next season, right?
That's why they have to win it this year.
You can't forget about what Gobert is making. His salary, I think, balloons up every year.
Speaking of Gobert,
Mike Conley. So this puts just with that puts the Wolves at $0.5 million from the second apron with only 9 players on the contract of going into next year.
Sheesh.
Mike Conley's an unrestricted free agent. He'll be 37. Alexander Walker is in the final year of his deal this year, entering the final year of his deal next season, making $4 million. So they got decisions they have to make. And then let's not forget, they just signed Naz Reid to an extension last year too.
Yep.
So
he got new ownership. And he also got new ownership.
And they got new ownership. So what I'm saying is like, I don't like, and I'm learning more and more about the CBA. It's like, yo, like, you really are getting penalized for putting all the chips in to try to win, right? And it doesn't make sense to me. It's crazy because, and this is why the parity is happening, because you're gonna have teams who can't pay these players, and these good players are gonna come off the books and go to other teams, and then you're gonna have other teams form to kind of make a championship contender. So it's crazy to see, man. It's really crazy to see.
And also, don't forget about the new TV deals that's coming up.
Yeah, that should balloon the salary cap, right?
Yeah, that'll help the salary cap, but that doesn't take away the fact that you're going to be a second nation too. I think penalties will still be there.
When the salary cap rises, the second apron rises, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Everything goes up.
I think the Suns are just going to forever be over that. if these guys are still on it, they go forever be over that. All right.
But it doesn't raise to the amount where, like, oh my God, we're out of the second apron. Like, it raises like 5-10 million. All right, you got $5 to $20 million in extra cap space because of the new TV deals and whatnot. But like, it's still it's insane to really think about. Like, you really have to like tread lightly, understand, and know what you're doing.
Yep, good players got to start signing for a little bit less if they want to build a good team.
You got to do what LeBron did in Miami. Yo, 19 million a year.
Well,
you know,
speaking of signing for less, Jalen Brunson. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But obviously in the East, the Knicks and the Pacers going to Game 7 in the Garden, and it was an electrical atmosphere for about 10 minutes. And the Pacers put on an historic shooting performance. First half shooting over 75%, I believe, from the field, which was never heard of. And in the second half, finished with 64% shooting from the field, which is insane. And obviously the Knicks were devoid of players. Injuries happen. Jalen Brunson fractures his I think left thumb or right thumb.
his right hand.
His right hand, fractured the right hand.
I thought it was his shooting hand.
No, it might be his left hand. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but he fractured his hand.
Either way, I mean, you're losing out on Randall, losing out on Mitchell Robinson, losing out on Bogdanovich, losing out on
OG.
Brunson, losing out on OG. Like, that's 5 rotation players.
And Josh Hart with the
and then Josh Hart was dealing with injury. He probably shouldn't have been out there on the floor either. So you had 6 guys. 6 guys of your top rotation guys were all hurt. And people can blame Tibbs to a certain degree because, like, and you shouldn't be playing guys 40 some odd minutes in January. But injuries are part of the game. They could have gotten hurt at any time of the season, any time in the playoffs, regardless of how many minutes they played in the regular season. So, like, I got to give Tibbs some slack. Like, people are like, oh, he got to change his coaching ways and he runs his guys to the ground. Yes, he does, but also, like, injuries happen, man. Like, that just happens out of nowhere. So, before we get to Eric, because Eric will leave you last. Angel, I want to go to you first. How do you feel about the Knicks and the Pacers series, and how did that go? And what are your thoughts on that series?
I'll tell you one thing. I don't think I'm tweeted into the Eastern Conference Finals. That's the first part. The fact that the Pacers made it here, I guess, is luck of the draw, but, like, that's really just nasty TV. And I was rooting for the Knicks to make it, honestly.
I mean, it's safe to say that we all were.
Yeah. Like, the Knicks, just, again, like, their resilience, I think they just gained a lot of respect during this postseason. And I'm honestly excited for them to, like, see what they're doing next year. But in regards to, like, right now, like, they literally, rode to the wheels fall off, as they say. And, like, it was just, like, from the even before the playoffs started, injuries were, like, kind of like the common theme with the Knicks. And at the end of the day, like, their star player gets hurt by injury. Like, it was just like, it was just like, it was written in the stars. Like, that's how they go down. But, I mean, overall, it was an entertaining series. It was very, like, high paced, very back and forth, especially when you compare it to, like, the Wolves and Nuggets. That was just like, haymaker after haymaker. It was like a different pace. As far as the Eastern Conference Finals, I mean, I definitely got the Celtics making it. Let's see, probably in 5 or 6, I think they make it. But who knows? The Pacers made it this far. We'll see. We'll see what happens when it comes to them.
Armani?
Sorry, y'all. I just hate, like, not tailing a bet and the bet hit. But anyway, though, so Eric and I, we spoke a little bit about, just how the series went before we went live. And I believe that I really wanted to see the Knicks win. I think it was just good for, like, the city of New York. And Angel, you made a very important point, like, because I'm not a Knicks fan. Let me just make that clear, right? But just the respect that they gained, just playing after injury, like, they got dogs on that team, and I respect that. I respect anybody who comes to work and show effort. That's it. Whether you get the job done or not, I respect that, and that's what it really was, and that's why everybody aligned on having the Knicks win. But it just sucks that, like, at the worst time, injuries were like, the injury bug hit him. And even before Brunson got hurt, like Eric and I, we was talking before we went live, it would have sucked if the Knicks would have made it and, it was still like this, bad when they're missing key rotational players. Like, it would have, I mean, I think the Celtics had an easy run now. Like, it gets even easier. We don't really have to deal with as much. The games would have definitely been competitive, but Celtics still is the automatic victor in that in that series. But all in all though, like, and I hate to say it, but you just got to give credit to Indiana just for hanging around, honestly, because they wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. They're only here because of injuries and stuff like that. But like, I know we're that's kind of like the theme of this playoffs. Like, oh, the Celtics got an easy run to the finals and stuff like that. But you got to beat who's in front of you. That's it. You just can't look at the name and look at the guys on paper and look at the guys on the roster and say, "Damn, I don't think we got a chance." Because if that's the case, the Pacers don't beat the Bucks, and the Pacers don't beat the Knicks. So and also giving credit to the Pacers because they were down 0-2 and they came back. Nembhard hits a crazy shot, puts them back in the series. Right? Hallie doesn't play good, and Hallie wasn't even. And I said this on the last episode, or maybe 2 episodes ago. But Hallie only plays good like. The only way for them to win is if he plays like the way leading up to the in-season tournament. I got some flack, but for that, but when he went over to Indy, they showed that they're a home team. They was able to get it done. People didn't think they was going to get it done in Game 7 because, like I said, they're a home team, but they were able to. And I just think also some of that has to do with the Knicks being gassed, like playing those key guys, tired legs, not really going on the defensive end, and the Pacers did what they had to do. They shot 67% from the field. So like that's an astronomical number in a Game 7 on the road in one of the most hostile environments like the Knicks. So you gotta credit Indiana for that. You got to. They be who's in front of you.
Not gonna lie, they've been getting some good bench production too. TJ McConnell, like he's definitely been marketing himself this postseason, and he's
in actuality, I think even after Brunson, I can say that TJ McCollum was probably the most consistent pacer this entire series. Probably like Brunson 1, McCollum 2, very very consistent this entire series, and he definitely came in and affected the game on a defensive end and on both ends of the floor.
Even Obi, I guess, has been like he's been given some good quality production off the bench.
Yeah.
The shout out to the Pacers. They just for how they showed up in Game 7. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting the Knicks to smoke them, to be honest. But the Pacers coming out and shooting lights out like that and actually being aggressive to the punch. I'm really impressed with how they did that, even though I didn't want them to go against the Celtics more than the Knicks. Like, it's just Halliburton. I'm gonna be fair to you. I was on you since the in-season tournament. You haven't been this guy. And you actually showed that little more that you getting back in rhythm. So I'm gonna give you your props because I was totally hard on you. I was totally hard on you. I don't even want to talk.
What are you doing, man?
This is crazy, man. Oh man. Well, pass the mic, man. I'm passing the mic. This is bad. I don't know what to say.
You already said it. Just go ahead, brother.
Yo, good job, man. Good job.
What are you doing, man? Yo, Eric, go ahead, bro.
All right, so Ernest, did you want to chime in on?
No, I mean, end of the day, man, injuries, man. It's just what it is. Like, I firmly believe if the Knicks were fully healthy, this series probably ends in 5 or 6 games.
That's what I feel bad about.
It's the if.
Don't feel bad. No. This is why you don't feel bad, because the same Knicks fans were laughing at the Nets for going through these injuries. So I don't want to hear oh man, feel bad.
Listen,
I don't want to hear that.
Listen, I'm not giving the Knicks no sympathy. Hell, when AD tore his groin against the Phoenix Suns, we didn't get no sympathy.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
So, like,
this is what I don't want to hear. No,
the game is the game.
Happened. This is what happened.
The game is the game. You out there on the floor, you better play and suit up. But there is an if. You always think of the what if. You always think of
no. That's cool. I'm just saying, for the Knicks fans, I did not forget Y'all hating asses. I came on Twitter after the Nets lost. Oh, yo, the Nets, they flopped. Bro, LaMarcus Aldridge is out with a lung thing. Like, he's about to final court. Kyrie almost got his ankle amputated. Harden out there playing with one leg. Jeff Green, he was limping around. Like, bro, I don't want to hear from y'all because y'all was going crazy on us. So, Knick fans, just know.
I honestly, I can attest to that. Knick fans were definitely clowning the Nets.
Exactly.
For sure. I remember that.
So
like, at the end of the day, like, injuries happen, right? And that's a part of the game. And
I don't like ugly. That's what I'm gonna say. Karma's really a thing.
I'll give you 5 second-round picks and Julius Randle for Mikal Bridges.
That is insane.
You would trade Randall? You don't want to see Randall like
No. That's the Josh. That's Josh. That's for Josh.
Angel, I think they're gonna trade Randall, but
I want them to see it through at least one time.
I think he deserves that, man. He did this for y'all. Without Randall, y'all wouldn't be here.
Yep.
When did Randall get injured?
In January.
Okay, exactly.
I'm saying like this whole Knicks rebrand thing. Without Randall, they
yeah,
wouldn't be
he
here.
was. Yeah, just like he was part of the rebrand for us. Bye.
Right. Exactly. Right. I'm over here confused. I'm like, all right, like, what do you?
What that mean?
So
big fish, brother. Big fish.
No big fish is available.
The Knicks will always be relevant, right? And I kind of get what Josh is saying because when he got there, he was able to make the playoffs. He won Most Improved. So and then. Right, and then he was an All-Star too, right?
Yeah,
and then
he was an All-Star.
He was an All-Star. The following season, he didn't have such a great year.
All NBA.
And All NBA, and then the following season, y'all get Brunson, and then now y'all here. So I get what Josh is saying, but like,
and he got injured last playoffs.
Yeah,
Against
twice in a row.
He did play. He did play. He did play though.
He played through it.
That's more to Brunson, bro.
Thank you for your services, brother. You were a vessel. And now it's time to move on.
Crazy, bro.
They say he'd arm the Voltron.
Nah,
listen, man.
You can't they watch when they get rid of the heart, it's over, man.
No, the heart is actually
Josh Hart.
Yeah.
Stop it.
He had 2 good months. Stop it. I know the heart I saw last year. I know the heart I saw last year.
No.
What?
He played a whole look. He played a whole lot better this year. Okay, and in fact, right, as a guard, he was leading the playoffs in rebounds.
Okay. All right.
You guys are acting like that's like something like
that's a crazy stat, bro. That's a crazy stat.
Come on, Josh.
That's a crazy stat, bro.
But
when you got Jokic, AD, come on, bro.
He couldn't get a bucket. Okay.
He had an abdominal strain.
Oh, I don't care. I told you the one Knick player I would hate on is Josh Hart. You know why? I would hate on him.
What did he do to you?
No. I know why.
So crazy about my young goat.
That young goat is not going to be in the uniform. Anyway, never mind. All right, so
yeah,
that's cool.
At the end of the day, listen, the Pacers did what they were supposed to do. Right, you play who's in front of you. Like that, it is what it is. The Knicks were injured. They ran that team to the ground because they bro, their 9th, 10th man was getting valuable playoff minutes, right? Like Alec Burke coming off the bench, putting up 29. Like, come on, like
crazy.
So I understand it, and it's really nothing for me to say. Like I don't want to take away from the Pacers, but we know what it is. Like we know what it is, and you just got to play who's in front of you. So shout out to Indiana, shout out to Halliburton and those guys, and we'll see what happens in this series against the Celtics. I do think though the Celtics. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Celtics are going to just dog walk them though. Like, I don't think so. So we'll see.
Pacers didn't win 2 games against the Celtics this year, including the in-season tournament game.
Yep. That was an electric game.
You know my agenda. Anybody but Boston.
I want to say,
Oof.
If the Pacers season is an indicator for anybody in the league, Make that trade, man. They
Yep,
made the trade
exactly.
for
They made
Siakam,
the trade. They made the Siakam trade.
and you see where it got them. Now they in
But
the East.
but look at the last 4 teams,
And it
right?
wasn't even supposed to do that.
All the last 4 teams that are standing right now made
And on
significant
top of
moves,
that,
either going
They
into
did.
the season or during the season. Look at
Yeah.
all 4 teams right now.
Yeah.
They're all
Mhm.
everyone who stood pat didn't make a move are out.
Did
Yep.
Minnesota?
Rudy Gobert. I'm just saying, like, it took them a year, but like
Oh, okay.
they made
All right.
they made a big trade.
Yeah,
to
that's
improve.
true. That's true.
They made a big trade to improve. You know
and
what
on
I'm
top,
saying?
and also don't forget Indiana. They was also going after OG before they made the Siakam trade.
Yeah. And
Look how that helped
and,
y'all.
and they're gonna try to get Paul George. So we'll see.
That's gonna be
We'll
good for
see.
AD.
Yeah. But Eric, the floor is yours to take your Josh is gonna take a victory lap, but the floor is yours to
Victory
you
lap.
know.
Or what?
Oh my
Look,
God.
Nets fans they appreciate when the Knicks don't win. So
I don't care. No, I didn't care about the Knicks. I just cared about Josh Hart looking like dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say the rest of the word. I don't care about that. Don't bother me, man. The Knicks, cool. Y'all been through a lot. Cool for y'all. But Josh Hart, you could play like shit.
I mean, he did make
Family show.
threes.
Family show.
I mean, he did make 2 threes against the Sixers in the first round. I mean,
did.
he won game 1 and won game 6. So let's.
No, I'm just a hater of Josh Hart, man. That's it, man. That's it. That's cool.
So as far as this series went, the whole theme was health. I thought coming into this series, pace was going to be the main theme of the series. Whoever established pace was going to win the series. I thought, and we also saw the Knicks winning the first 2 games, even though it was up and down pace. The Knicks established itself defensively, and being at home also helped them a lot. Jalen Brunson was his usual self, dominating against Andrew Nemhart the first 2 games. If you go back to game 2 when he left the first half with with a mysterious foot injury, it was clear that Indiana without Brunson, Indiana took control of that. Had a big lead going into the third, and then Brunson comes back, dominates in the second half, and the Knicks win game 2. Then going to Indiana for game 3, where Carlisle decides to go into the podium and starts complaining about the officiating and how the small market teams don't get a chance, this and that. We're not getting the calls. Basically setting the tone for games 3 and 4. Game 3, the Pacers were like literally had a big lead. Knicks came back late third quarter, took a 9-point lead in the fourth quarter, and had the chance to literally put the series away. Tyrese Halliburton, he didn't show up in game 1, but he showed up in games 2 and 3. He had a big fourth quarter along with Miles Turner, pick and pop game, shooting threes. TJ McConnell was more than a pest. He was getting to the paint at will, layups, facilitating, just being a menace on defense, picking up Brunson 94 feet. Also, the defensive change lineup with putting Aaron Neesmith on Jalen Brunson, picking him up 94 feet, a taller guard, just putting pressure on the Knicks, ball handling, the ball pressure, also inbounding the ball, causing havoc. But in game 3, it was a back and forth also in the fourth quarter. Knicks had their chances to win to win game 3, fourth quarter, big buckets down the stretch, and it came down to Andrew Nemhart 30-foot 3-pointer that put the Pacers up for good by 3 points, and they won that game, avoiding elimination, basically saving their season. Because if that shot doesn't go down, it would have been a tie game, the last couple of seconds, and who knows what happened. And Knicks would have probably go up 3 games to nothing, and we wouldn't be here talking about a Pacers Celtics series. So, which proceeds to game 4 on Mother's Day. and it really wasn't a contest. Pacers outshot the Knicks with lights out, blew them out by 30. Game 5, back to the Garden. Knicks did the same thing. 32-point win. Rick Carlisle questioning his team of his effort, defense, rebounding. So game 6, this is where the injuries started to pile on even more for the Knicks. Josh Hart getting abdominal strain, Pacers running up and down behind their home crowd. Um, and Jalen Brunson wasn't, even though he had a 31-point game, he wasn't good at all in the first half. And thought that the Pacers, they really established themselves in game 6, just putting pressure on the Knicks. Defensively, ball pressure, 94 feet with Andrew Nemhard, no, with Aaron Neesmith and TJ McConnell. And I thought the Pacers bench was big because also they were able to play more guys than the Knicks, who was down their guys, so they had to like play at least seven deep at best. Now going to game 7 at home, you're thinking, okay, thinking that the Knicks should at least be good to go for game 7. Hope it be a close game, and then Knicks pull it out in the fourth quarter, have a big fourth quarter run with Jalen Brunson as usual. And the Knicks established itself in the fourth quarter, the defense rebounding and just established itself and just putting their stamp on the series. Not so fast. Pacers came out in the first quarter, shooting lights out, near 80% from the field, 39 points in the first quarter. Tyrese Halliburton making shots, Nemhard making shots, Miles Turner making shots off the pick and pop from 3. Also with the Knicks, you had OG with the valiant effort trying to come back, played the first 5 minutes, made 2 threes, and then he could he just could see that he wasn't able to walk. He wasn't able to run. So that was it for him. Josh Hart gave a valiant effort, but the injuries caught up to him. The abdominal strain caught up to him. So, and it also if you go back to the series, the team that has won the rebounding battle in each game of the series has won each game. So go back and the Pacers won game 7, they won the rebounding battle, they won the series. So hats off to the Pacers for winning the series. As far as the Knicks, they get to regroup, get healthy, see what moves they're going to make in the offseason, and see if they're going to bring back the entire team as whole, knowing that the OG needs to be re-signed. He's a free agent. He's going to be re-signed. Isaiah Hartenstein needs to be re-signed. Jalen Brunson, he's up for an extension. So we'll see what happens with that. And also the case of Julius Randle. Or are they going to Knicks are we hear rumors that the Knicks are taking calls on Randle to see what's out there for him. So we'll see if there's a market out for Randle, or if they decide to bring it back and go for a title run in 2025.
Yep. I mean, all in all, what I want quickly is your guys' predictions. So round robin, real quick. Armani, who do you got in the West and the East? And who's your finals matchup? Let's just put it that way. You're muted.
Finals matchup, I got Minnesota and Boston.
Boston.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the bias out of this episode for me. But I think Minnesota has a better team than Dallas. For me personally, it's a win-win, whoever. But Minnesota definitely has the defense, as we've seen against the Nuggets. They have the defense, they have the scoring, they have the height, they have all of that to I guess, negate what Dallas is doing or what Dallas has done in the previous series. And then obviously the Pacers, they don't guard. They play offense really well. They're one of the best offensive teams in the league. But Boston got both. They got offense, they got defense. But my thing is, right, what happens when Boston defeats themselves? That's what's going to be really interesting to see because we know they do it a lot. They play down to their comp. But I just think the Minnesota and Boston, that's what our finals is looking like.
Angel?
Yeah, for me, finals, same as Armani. I got Minnesota and Boston. The Wolves, I think they just have all the confidence in the world right now to, take them to where they need to go. They have the right person for it. They have the right personnel, and they match up pretty well with the Celtics. The only thing I think about the Celtics that may present a little bit more challenge to Minnesota is that they prefer to shoot the ball from the outside. So it's going to be interesting to see how Minnesota adjusts. I definitely think they can. There's definitely a way to adjust to that, but for us, it was pretty much playing like inside out, and they dared us to shoot. But the Celtics, they might take film from our series and kind of see how they dared us to shoot and how they benefited from it and how maybe they can adjust to that. Whether it's like Al Horford, he's at this point he kind of just catches and shoots from the three, things like that. Porzingis, his health is going to be a big part of that series. If he's able to be healthy. If he's not going to be healthy.
So Porzingis is projected to be back game 4, give or take, of this series. So we'll see.
Okay, yeah, but him, his height alone, provides so much upside for the Celtics, and not having him, especially when you have 3 7-footers going against you, is going to do a lot. And yeah, man, I think the Celtics starting 5, I definitely do think they match up with Minnesota starting 5 a little bit better than us. I think there's 1-to-1 matchups there. It's not so much double teaming. You could, but I think you can trust your players from each side when it comes to that defensive matchup. So it's gonna be a good finals for what I think is gonna be Celtics versus Timberwolves.
Josh?
I think it's gonna be Minnesota, but I won't sleep on Dallas being able to beat Minnesota, only due to the fact of Luka. And if Kyrie actually wakes up the series, I think they have enough firepower to at least beat Minnesota. But personally, I need to see Jordan's son in the finals, man. I need to see Jordan's son versus Kobe cosplay. You know what I'm saying? So
take me there, Five. That's hilarious.
Kobe cosplay is crazy.
I seen that.
That's what I need to see. So I really have. I'm sorry, Indiana, that nobody has any hope in y'all, but Boston.
They like the three-headed dragon meme, bro. They don't belong here. The Pacers do not belong here, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I like the little engine that could, but it's just nah, bro. We know, bro. Yeah. So I think Minnesota, but I think it's gonna be a close series. I think it might be a 7-game series, another one for Minnie and Dallas.
So my only issue with Dallas, and as to why this may play into Minnesota's hand, is that the difference with Denver moves the ball. They move the heck out of the ball. They're very good at that. Dallas, at times, more often than not, are very one-centric.
Predictable.
Heavy ISO with Luka, heavy ISO. And, it's easier to defend because Luka, what he does very well is he likes to mismatch hunt. He gets that from LeBron. LeBron, was great at doing that. Still great at doing that. But Luka does that a lot. You really can't. I mean, if you can try to get Mike Conley on him, but
the help defenders.
And they communication.
They can't play the way they played against the Clippers and the Mavericks. I mean, against the Thunder, in my opinion. You can't be just a heavy ISO team and let Minnesota's defense just sit on you. You can't allow them to sit. You got to be able to cut. You got to be able to the thing is, guys like Josh Green, guys like Derrick Jones Jr., Obviously PJ Washington. Like those guys are gonna have to really step up in this series
And
because
Tim
huh?
Hardaway.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway needs to make shots because
Yeah. It's
Lord,
been
it's
bad
been
for
bad.
him.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
bad. So um I'm very concerned on how they play offense and their defense isn't that great. You know, it's not the best defensive team in the league, right?
Well, they're one of the best defensive team after the trade deadline,
Yes.
getting
Just
Gafford
in the
and
playoffs,
PJ.
they haven't been that
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But I'm just concerned about that. But you know, again, Luka and Kyrie are at any moment can go up for 40, 50, 70. Hell, that's what Luka put up, right? So, because my thing is like Jokic was able to make Rudy uncomfortable, to make Cat to a certain degree uncomfortable. Nas Reed, they don't run offense through their centers. So, like Lively and Gafford, they're cleanup guys, they're lob threats. Like, how much work are you gonna put on Rudy and Cat and Nas Reed to do down in the paint? Because again, Dallas's offense is more predicated on the perimeter rather than inside and out. They work from outside in. So I got Minnesota in this. Honestly, I got Minnesota in like, I want to say 5, but I'm gonna say 6. I'm just very concerned about Dallas's offense. Like Dallas, and sometimes they go through these scoring droughts, which is very concerning for me. So, I got Minnesota in 6, and then I got Boston in 4. I want the Pacers to win, obviously. I don't want the Celtics having a shot at getting number 18. But I don't see a world where Boston doesn't look at this as a golden opportunity just to punch a ticket into the finals and get it over with, and punch Indiana in the mouth, fairly quickly and early. So,
Yeah.
that's my finals matchup.
We should bet that.
Yeah, I got Mavs and I got the T-Wolves and the Celtics in the finals. In this East series, Celtics should win this in 5, but I can see it's going to 6 games because with the high octane offense for the Pacers, and also don't forget they're gonna try to establish rebounding and their pace, but also the Celtics thing they can run up the floor with them also. So we've seen they played them 5 times. They haven't played them in January.
You know what's
So
crazy is
They beat them by 50 in the beginning
yeah,
of the
they beat
season.
150. Celtics hung 150 on the Pacers.
in
back in
regulation.
regulation.
And that's the thing, because the Pacers defense is their offense. So the Celtics are gonna be like, bet we could put up as much threes as we want because that's what we like to do. To Angel's point, like Boston loves to shoot the 3 ball. Sometimes their offense is predicated just on that. Like, just shoot as much threes as you can, get the defense to commit, whatever, So but also the flip side to that is that's also Boston's downfall more often than not, is that they shoot so much, they shoot themselves either out the game or they don't go to anything else, and they just do that, and then they have no chance of winning the game.
Like
so
43s again.
Yeah, which is insane.
Mhm.
So, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, the game starts in a few minutes, and we'll see how game 1 shapes out.
And also
But
in the
go ahead, Eric.
also so in the Western Conference, I like the T-Wolves. I just think their defense is gonna start neutralizing the one-on-one offense for the Mavericks have. I think for the Mavericks to win, have a chance in that series, they're gonna have to spray the ball, move the ball around, get others involved. Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Derek Lively, the big guys have to really show up because with Cat and Gobert and Jaden McDaniels, you still got the big front line for the T-Wolves. They're gonna establish their pace early and often. So also I think Anthony Harris is out for he smells it, he senses it that they're close to getting into the finals. So I think we're gonna have another big series from Anthony Edwards, and I just like the T-Wolves and their defense, and I think they're on a mission this year. So I like the T-Wolves and the Celtics in the finals. And as for my winner for the whole thing, give me the T-Wolves to win it all.
You call like Minnesota.
You know, I'm getting a little scared, man. Even though, Luka frustrates me, but he's a superstar. I feel like counting this guy out is scary.
We're
No,
not
it
counting
is.
him
It
out.
is.
No, no,
We're not counting him out at all.
We're not counting him out. It's just everybody's around him because, like, the boy that you like to talk about a lot. Well, actually, the second guy you like to talk about a lot, Kyrie. I need him to wake up. He's
But
the
he-
X
but
factor in
the-
this series.
But also, like the way Minnesota treated Jamal Murray, like, don't get me wrong, like Jamal Murray, talent-wise, is not Kyrie Irving, right?
No, right.
But this playoffs, Jamal Murray's been the better player. And the way they've made Jamal Murray look, I think Kyrie's smaller than Jamal Murray too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's gonna again, it's not Luka. It's like the cast around him. Kyrie's gonna have to carry a lot of that, and because again, because they're so ISO heavy, it's gonna be like, yo, like Luka won't be able to see nothing clean. Like he's not. They're gonna dare everyone else to beat them. So that's my only concern about them is just that because Kyrie struggles offensively, he's smaller. Minnesota's a bigger team. What does Kyrie look like in this series? Because I think honestly, how he performs is in this series in particular is how the Mavericks are going to go. Because that'll offset some of the load on Luka. Because Luka's 6'8", so Luka kind of doesn't have a mismatch in a sense, right? But he can if you're doubling him on every possession and you're forcing other guys to make shots, it's gonna look pretty rough. It's gonna look pretty rough. So we'll see what happens. But all in all, I got Boston and Minnesota in the finals. Moving on, really quick, we got some NBA season awards. So really quickly, how do you guys feel about all defensive first team? Obviously, it was Bam, Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, Herb Jones, and Victor Wembanyama. I said that wrong, but whatever. How do you guys feel about those five guys being first team, or who was snubbed out of first team? Maybe
I don't think anybody was snubbed out first. I think everybody deserves to be where they at. Say it, Omani. I know you want to say it.
What you
Say
think
it.
I'm gonna say? What
you said in the chat the other day?
Wait, what? Oh no! I thought about it. No.
You said
that's not what I was gonna say.
yeah.
That's how I thought about it.
You ever noticed I didn't reply to that because I was like,
I thought about it. No. You said for we talking about all defensive team, right?
Yes. Yeah, all defensive first team. So
the bald eagle, the Caruso. The Caruso.
No.
Come on, dog.
No.
Come
No.
on, dog.
Absolutely not.
No.
Come on.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's a good defender for sure.
Come on, man.
First team, no. I'm not mad at the list. Second team was Derek White, Jalen Suggs, Jaden McDaniels, Drew Holiday, and Alex Caruso. Derek White, though? I don't know about Derek White.
But the media has been in a love.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
He almost was an all-star.
He was almost an all-star. Remember that?
He was almost an all-star.
There's no picking him over Jalen Brunson. I was like, nah, bro.
I don't understand the love the love that they get for him, but they could show that to like Aaron Gordon. At least we've seen it.
Exactly.
Right.
That's fair. As much as I hate to say it, that is fair.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, Aaron Gordon is a good candidate for second team all defense.
Very
sure.
fair. Very fair.
And then obviously all rookie first team: Chet, Jaime Jaquez, Brandon Miller, Brandon Przemski, and Victor Wemby. So,
no
I had no issue with that. That seems pretty legit.
Like I said, I said lively in our other chat, but I thought about it. About it.
And then lastly, before we end it, because the game is starting.
Also, second team, Keontae George, Gigi Jackson, Derek Lively, Eamon Thompson, and Cason Wallace.
I had a little thing with that, a SAR, but hey, it is what it is, man.
I
feel you.
It is what it is. Like that could go either way.
Yeah, Detroit Pistons, yeah.
I feel you, but come on,
Yeah,
Detroit,
Detroit. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
come on.
Two quick topics I want to talk about. Obviously, the Lakers head coaching search.
It's still going on, guys. We've been talking about this for the last 4 episodes. It's crazy.
Still going on, as
We
we
just
know.
started interviews.
They just started interviewing. They interviewed 3 candidates already.
James Borregos.
James Borrego, because AD has a relationship with him.
What?
Sam Cassell has also been interviewed. And then obviously the JJ Redick has also been interviewed, and they're still looking to interview Mike.
They compared him to Pat Riley.
Yeah, which is insane.
What?
Obviously, they
JJ
still have to.
Nasty.
Yes, they did. They did.
It was an article. It was
There's an article that came out that said that the Lakers were enamored with JJ, and they view him as the next Pat Riley. I'm like, so if that's the case, just hire him then. Like with all the Snoop Dogg stuff.
Don't even do the interview. Just hire him.
But
LeBron
we all know,
that.
probably, yeah. We all know the Lakers are waiting for one guy, and this one guy has been going back and forth with the Clippers in his contract extension, which is Ty Lue. And you know, I'm pretty sure the reason why the Clippers have been slow-footed on this situation is because they know if Ty Lue and then decide to part ways, Ty Lue will probably be hired as Lakers coach tomorrow, right? So, and we all know the Clippers do. If above all else, you know what the Clippers are going to do anything to stop the Lakers from doing whatever it is that they want to do. They don't care about nothing else. They don't care about championships. They don't care about winning. They don't care about nothing else. But let's stop the Lakers from doing whatever that they want to do. That's what the Clippers' MO has always been. So since 2018. So I understand. I just think at this time the Lakers are just going to say, you know what, we can't wait any longer. The draft is coming up soon. Free agency, all this stuff is happening. And before any free agent moves or anything like that, you got to get a coach. So I think ultimately JJ will be the coach. I'm not opposed to it because this is the first time that the Lakers are hiring a coach for their stars, because their stars are suggesting these are the guys that they want, right? Darvin Ham was not a LeBron or AD pick. Neither was Frank Vogel. So, and neither was Luke Walton. So this would be the first time since the LeBron and AD era they're going to pick a coach based on what their stars want. So, and if you do that, then maybe you get a better buy-in from the stars. So we'll see what happens.
If they sign him, you could just invite him to the next episode of the podcast, and they could be guests.
Right. That's what it feels like, yo.
That's the only thing I'm kind of worried about is that, like, players, like if JJ is trying to send a message to the team, right? And, you know, this is the direction he wants the team to go in. You could easily be looked at as, well, you're just saying it because LeBron told you to say that, and you're just saying.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think LeBron going to tell JJ, you're going to do what I tell you to do.
He said, I'm the coach. Look at me. I'm the captain.
Right. He said, I got you this paycheck, but I'll make the plays.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And lastly, so Jalen Brunson is due for a contract extension. And I feel very strongly about this. And report came out today that Jalen Brunson is looking, well, all signs point to Jalen Brunson signing the extension, which is a 4-year, $168 million contract extension. Very good money, well-deserved. But if he opts out of his current deal and goes into free agency next offseason and just re-signs with the Knicks, he's eligible for a 5-year, $270 million contract. Well, not extension, but new deal. Personally, I think you don't take any shorts. You opt out and you take that 5-year long-term money for $270. But Eric, the Knicks fan, seems it should be looked at differently.
So make this quick because either way he's gonna get his money because with the 4-year $168 million extension, you add that on to the current contract he's on right now. So that'll be that's basically what 104, 168. That's what near the max that he's gonna get if he waits one more summer. So to me, it really doesn't make a difference. I just think that he just want to get it out the way and then proceed to rehab and get it on for next year. So and on top of that, it opens up more cap space because they're gonna be on that approaching that first tier, and also they'll be past the first tier and then they'll be closer to the second tier. So might as well, if that's the case, you might as well have him sign now, and then and then you wait till you give Randall his next deal. So he's up for he's also up for an extension. OG and Hartenstein, they're free agents, so you free up that money to give OG probably what 28 to 30 mil. Isaiah Hartenstein, 17 mil per. So probably get some wiggle room, but I get it if you want him to wait another year and then have him sign for the Supermax, but either way he's still getting the same amount of money because the extension is part of the first deal he got from this first deal to the deal he might sign this year. So that's my thinking.
I get it.
Jamal
I
Murray due for a
understand it.
contract, too.
What was that, Angel?
Oh no, I was saying Jamal Murray also due for a contract. That's gonna be interesting.
I was just about to get to that too. Like he's also due for an extension.
Yeah.
Listen, I get it with the second apron and all that stuff. I'm just you don't take the short. I just
don't do favors for these billionaires, man.
Yeah,
why
man,
are we doing favors for billionaires?
Don't do favors for these guys. You take the most money you can.
At least get the 200 M's. At least get 200, not 160. That's crazy.
Yeah. 168 to 270. I'm sorry.
At least 200 M's, Eric. At least can you give him that? Like, you'll be okay with that, right? You say 70 M's.
Ain't my money though, but fuck it. It's family show. Family show.
Pay what you want, as long as you keep them. I get it.
Yo, show over, man.
Real quick before we go, I think it does help though, Angel, that Jamal Murray doesn't have any All NBA stuff. He doesn't have all the season rewards. So
I thought about that.
His max is not gonna be like what?
I think it's like 30% of the cap space or something like that.
Yeah, so
like that's what he's eligible for because he re-signed the extension in 2019. But like it was a short-term deal, so that way he can do those things like make an all-star team for like one of the all NBA teams, and he's not done any of that. So it kind of I guess helps us in a way from a money standpoint. But he definitely has something to prove next season. Like I think that playoff Murray narrative died, and like he just has to reinvent himself, but like starting from the regular season by making an all-star team to begin with and then taking it from there. Because at this point, like the West is getting tougher, man. Like these guards in the West is like, it's a lot of spots that are automatically taken, and then like that last all-star spot for a guard, like that's gonna be up. Like they're gonna be fighting over that.
And what's crazy, it all depends too, like what guard may go out west this offseason, right? Like you never know what'll happen.
This guy bragging about Trae Young already.
Whoa. I wasn't even like thinking that, but okay, whatever. Whatever. You said it.
He can always go to San Antonio.
That's what I'm saying. Like he don't got to be a Laker. Like I'm just saying, like the West is already stacked as it is, and you don't know what changes can happen that'll trump that for Murray. So like he has to be able to put a full season together, and two, he's been injured a lot.
Yeah,
so like he has to kind of like get his body right, and like the way he plays in the playoffs, he has to be that during the regular season as well.
He wants to play basketball for Canada this summer too. So like I don't know. Like that
and he played for Canada
over. He like just rest.
He played for Canada in the FIBA last summer. So
bro,
it's
it was a bad playoffs for Murray, and Michael Porter was our second most consistent player in the regular season, and the greatest percentages dropped like crazy. And at that point, it was just Jokic and company. Whoever shows up to help him out, that's what it was. But yeah, I think he got targeted this playoffs. I think he got bullied pretty badly. And I think he has some things to think about. And hope he starts with prioritizing his health first rather than, playing basketball for Canada. They already have Nikhil. So right now he's the greatest Canadian basketball player they have.
Shay.
Yeah. So the Nuggets, tough spot.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys. It's been a great episode 66. Obviously, right now we got the Pacers and the Celtics going live for the Eastern Conference Finals Game 1. Make sure y'all tune into that. Couple WNBA games actually going on right now. You have let me just look at it real quick. You have.
They said charter. Why you do that? They said charter flights about to get taken away because the Fever haven't won a game.
Yeah, crazy. So you got the Dallas Wings and Atlanta Dream. You got Mystics and Sparks tonight, as well as the Aces and Mercury
7
tonight, which
straight
is
for the
going to be a good one.
Celtics.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. And
Also, NBA on NBC. The NBC is close to landing a deal with the NBA.
yes.
So we
can move away from the idiotic discourse from ESPN and TNT, and they can just talk. I just hope it's a different level of basketball talk.
And also the theme, the NBA. If you remember the NBA NBC theme song, they're in Nashville. I'm hearing that they're in Nashville about to do a re-recording. So it's about to
update it. Just give us the old joint.
I just want the old joint. That's all.
Give us the old joint. That's it.
Give us the old joint.
That's it. Keep it simple and plain.
That's it. Yeah.
But guys, it's been well. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you follow us, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow Angel. Angel, what's your handle? You can plug yourself real quick.
I'm actually taking a social media break. So
if
anything, yeah.
I tagged you in the post.
I'm in the off season too, man. I'm just chilling by the pool. Yoke and Watson.
We're all in this together.
Like 3 doors down.
Yeah. Listen, our stay is about to be up soon, so we've been here for quite a while. It's time for us to actually get back to work.
Celtics.
Nah, we staying here until July 1st. What you mean?
Yo, we got
No. The Nets, y'all been in Cancun for the whole year. Y'all residents there. It's a difference. Okay, we're just going there just to go there, and then we're coming back. So we got work to do. So yeah.
And plus, 2 of our players is playing USA basketball. So
yeah, 2 of our top players too. Yeah. So
nice.
We all in the off season, man. This is tough.
It's crazy, right?
This is when inside the NBA.
I was this close to not coming to you. I was this close to not going through the Cancun.
This is when inside NBA put up the going fishing meme, the going fishing
picture. Yeah.
It's all of us, literally.
Right. Going fishing.
And I'm just mad that my Celtic friends, get to still enjoy this.
I know.
Yeah.
But
until then, guys, peace and love. Take care of yourself. Take care of people around.
Appreciate it, y'all. Thank you for having me.
Sir.
Stay up, man. Safety.